Behind the Counter is brought to you by Audible.com, the internet's leading provider of audiobooks with more than 100,000 downloadable titles across all types of literature. For a free audiobook of your choosing, go to audiblepodcast.com/Andrew. And by Stitcher Radio. Listen on the go via the Stitcher mobile app. For more information, go to stitcher.com/GFQ. Hello, and welcome everybody to another episode of Behind the Counter. I'm your host, Rich Stamboli, and with me, as always, is the Dom DeLuise to my Dom DeLuise, Jonathan Adler.
I was trying to think of a Dom DeLuise thing.
We're both Dom DeLuise.
I'll be a Dom DeLuise.
You guys. Hey, chat room, stick around. We're going to talk about comics for the next hour. Everybody's
guys.
leaving. Everybody's like, I'm out of here.
Same personalities.
I really want
Same show.
I want to know where that Bret Hart conversation was going. Maybe next week. And then leave. That's it. All right. Welcome once again.
Not like you're occupying space or something like that. Like,
no, we're definitely not occupying space.
occupying.
That should be a word.
Occupying.
Occupying Wall Street. Octopus, everybody.
You got octopus. Octopus.
It's like when you rake your fingers gently over somebody's face.
It's a dusty finish.
Yeah, octopus.
Welcome once again to
My muffler fell out.
Behind the Counter. Trying to run a show here. Andrew, keep your Dusty Rhodes comments to yourself, please. I'm sorry.
I got a little excited.
Welcome once again to Behind the Counter, your weekly show about pop culture and comic books. Again, we got to come up with a better word than pop culture. I've said it for the past 4 episodes. Nerd culture?
No.
Game of Thrones culture?
Yes.
Tumblr Reddit culture?
Yes. Tumblr ready.
Tumblr ready.
Tumblr ready.
Are you Tumblr ready, bro?
Tumblr ready. Meme us.
What's going on, chat room? We got a lot to talk about today.
So much.
We have a lot of comic books to talk about.
So much.
A lot?
We just had breaking news.
Go ahead.
They have officially announced who is playing Drax the Destroyer.
Batista.
Yes. Yeah.
Are you serious?
I swear to God.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
I swear.
Nah,
right
no
here, bleeding cool. Right now, he tweeted today, about 5 minutes ago, and now it's been confirmed by Hollywood Reporter that he is playing Drax the Destroyer.
I pat myself on the back for that
Look at that.
because he looks like him.
Look at that. Boom.
That's awesome. Hey.
Boom.
No disrespect, but I'm going to be Drax the Destroyer.
He wasn't bad in The Man with the Golden Arms.
Yeah, I still didn't see that.
It was awful, but he wasn't bad in it.
I've been slowly catching up with movies.
What you watch?
Skyfall, finally.
Really good movie.
Awesome. Really good.
Bought that Javier Bardem.
he played such a great villain in it, like such an off the wall creep.
Yeah.
And his reactions were so incredible too, like because it was like the classic Bond movie villain with a little bit of like weird, kind of like the over the top homosexual flair.
Yeah.
Like every time something went down, he would be like, ooh.
Yeah.
He'd make that noise.
But how awesome was that climax with the coming in with who would he play? Oh, the Animals. He's playing over the loudspeakers on the motorcycle. I'm the motorcycle, the helicopter.
Yeah,
not a motorcycle.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Good movie.
I like the scene where he takes his teeth out,
yeah,
and just like his face sinks.
They're keeping up with the idea that like all Bond villains have to be disfigured in some way.
Yeah, which is great. I had to explain that to Vicky too. She's like, "Oh, what's the deal with that?" And I'm like, look at every Bond villain, and they all have some kind of weird facial,
something like a scar or anything.
I think what's his name too from GoldenEye, Sean Bean.
Yeah,
he had like his face got messed up.
Yeah,
or something.
He was like 006, I think, right?
Yeah. Vinny in the chat room said Brock Lesnar should play Eddie Brock in a Spider-Man movie.
I don't think so, bro.
No,
I don't think he should play anything.
You over that?
I'm over that.
Well, not really much by way of news happened this week.
Well, that was the biggest news we got all week long.
The Comixology thing that I know you wanted to talk about that. I completely forgot about when you mentioned it to me before.
Well, they for a few weeks now, we were speculating what these Marvel teasers were. There was #1 with like all these creators' names and all these different character names and all this stuff. And people were really speculating, oh my God, they're going to do like, they're going to relaunch Marvel and do something or another. Not the case at all. At South by Southwest, they announced that they are going Comixology for a limited amount of time. You can get 700 #1s of Marvel Comics. and it's a great selection.
Yeah.
Problem is, within 3 minutes of announcing this, they crashed Comixology.
Yeah, of course.
Because everyone's like, I need to put all 700 things in my queue.
Oh my God, it's free.
And download them all at once. So they're now trying to figure out when they can reschedule. So, wait and see.
You would think, because they're like such a big company right now, and they're like the go-to for digital comic book media, that they would turn around and be like, "Do you think this is going to crash everything?"
700 copies is a lot.
Yeah.
And the fact you don't have a queuing system where for this they were really downloading them all at once.
All at once, right?
So it's not like you have 5 comics that are going to be downloading, at increments, but
It's potentially everything, and it's not like how many people could be downloading? It's not one guy. It's not one guy in a basement. It's everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah,
Everyone at South by Southwest. Every comic fan that's reading every comic site. Bad idea.
Sorry, I'm coughing.
They also announced Project Gamma,
Okay.
which is an audio sensory experience. So now when you download a digital comic, if you turn a certain page, it'll be like a music cue. Yeah. Well, not like that, but it'll be like scores. So like if you turn a page, like they'll have like one steady score, and then you turn a page or a panel or something big will happen. You'll get like a rise,
Like
in
a
music.
swell.
Yeah,
I like that. I kind of like
Pretty cool
that.
idea.
It's a really cool idea.
I do that with all my stuff anyway.
In your brain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's, Scud, the creator of Scud, Rob Schrab, used to throw that into every issue.
Really?
Not like, he would write his soundtrack for pages in the back of every issue and say like, all right, page 1 through 6, it's like, House of the Rising Sun, page like 7 through 10, it's like Enter Sandman, and then like do the whole thing. And if you listen to it, it worked, but that's in the 90s. So
Yeah. That's a great idea,
yeah.
though. I think certain people have done that, too. I think Gaiman did that for some of Sandman, like saying there's like the mixtape for it. I know Fraction does that.
Yeah. Fraction does that big time with his books.
Off topic.
Yeah.
Know what show I got really into? Like, really got into?
Downton Abbey.
I mean, that's done already.
Uh-huh.
I've been in that. Banshee.
What's Banshee?
What is Banshee?
Yeah, seriously.
Banshee is Justified with tits.
Okay.
It's about a thief who gets out of jail after 15 years. You don't really know anything about him. He goes to an Amish town to track down somebody, and he's in a bar where this sheriff just came in to replace the old sheriff, and the guy gets killed, and he assumes the identity of the sheriff.
Okay.
It is so friggin' awesome.
What channel is it on?
Cinemax.
Really?
Yeah, after Strike Back.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I did see a commercial for it. It kind of made me want to get Cinemax again.
Yo, man, it's I'll give you my Max Go information. Just watch on your computer, or whatever, or watch on Xbox. It is so awesome. Like first episode is pretty good. It just builds steam.
Yeah,
it has They Live style half-hour fight scenes.
Really,
that are just intense. They didn't
I like that.
The guy who played Kratos, this big bald dude, is in the show as a crazy albino and is awesome. Is someone talking about Banshee?
No. I read, and this is like, as I looked at the screen, and some Ron Knight wrote, it seems there's a tie-in with the Russian mafia. And
yes,
that's on the show.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that pertaining to?
Yeah, there's a weird.
Us?
There's one of the characters. We do have ties to the Russian mafia. I am Ukrainian. It's just so good. It's really, it's not a thinking man's show at all, but it is rocking great. And there's so much. This dude gets so laid. He gets like 3 women in every episode.
That's awesome.
It's so good. Check it out. If you're sick and have nothing to do, or if you do have something to do, drop everything, watch Banshee.
I'll throw one at you. You watch Vikings yet?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like it. Do you watch it?
I like it.
I like it. I'll stick to it.
Yeah.
It looks great. It would have never happened if it wasn't for Game of Thrones. I mean, it's like
agree.
the same set designer for it.
Yeah.
I thought the second episode kind of dragged until they actually landed and killed all the monks, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. And
I like Floki.
Yeah,
it's a little much.
Yeah.
I think they all look great. I think like all the dudes except for like the weird Jax from Sons of Anarchy.
I was gonna say that exact same thing. I'm gonna be like, isn't it weird watching Jax as a Viking?
Yeah, he totally got a job because he looks exactly like Charlie Human.
Hubert.
Hubert.
I like where it's going. Like it's interesting.
I think Gabriel Byrne's a little bit much though.
I think Gabriel Byrne's.
I like him usually.
If somebody was like, "Hey, cast a Viking lord," who would it be?
Gabriel Byrne. You'll be the Earl.
Definitely not. Yeah, definitely not Gabriel Byrne. But
his wife is hot.
Show. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wife is really hot.
I think they're keeping that same thing with Game of Thrones. They're making all like the Norse women very hot on their show.
Yeah. How creepy. I like what's his name?
The brother.
No, I like him, and I like the wife. the shield maiden.
Yeah.
How creepy is that little dude? That's the Cretan to Gabriel Byrne. That little bald guy's like, you're ready to get what you see in the fire. I see my death. Okay.
The guy who's not Arnim Zola.
He's not Arnim Zola.
But he reminds me of the dude from the Captain America movie.
He does, yeah. He's like a little wimpy version of him.
It's the beard. It's the wispy, like, kind of beardy mustache thing. I like it. I hope it goes somewhere.
Yeah, I just know it is. Are you watching the Bible also?
I kind of do want to watch it.
Because I catch like the very end of it when I'm watching Vikings, and I'm like, I'm sure this is so ridiculous. It has to be.
I watched
Everybody looks dirty.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the Bible. What do you expect?
I watched it's not Mad Men.
It's come back soon.
I know. I can't wait. I watched a little bit of the Bible the other day. I flipped through the channel, and it was Moses coming back to Egypt, and they were like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm Moses," and they're like, "You're Moses.
You're a move creep."
I don't look like Charlton Heston at all. And that's, it ruins it for me because I'm like, like you picture certain dudes, a certain, like, they should have just superimposed Charlton Heston's head on him, like, no matter who
He'll always be Moses.
Like, he can't have, like, oh, I'm going to do my take on Moses. Impossible. You
think you should always show the 12 commandments on Easter?
10 commandments?
12. I mean, 2 more.
12 of them? Do you think they should still show it?
Or I haven't seen this in years.
They show it every year.
Do they?
Yeah.
On what? Channel 11?
They show it on ABC, and then I think they run it on another channel also, like in tandem with it.
I think I'm too busy watching Game of Thrones or something.
You know what I love about 10 Commandments? The fact that he is so much bigger than every single person in that movie.
Oh, he was a tremendous dude.
He's like, I would say he's maybe like 6'4", and everybody else is like 5'2" in that movie.
Yeah,
and like he's like a superhero in that movie.
Little Hebrews and Egypt people.
Like, what do we do, Moses? Stand back. I'll get him.
I'll get him.
I'll get him. I gotta watch. I saw like the weird promo for the Bible where it had like the kind of Kevin Smithy looking Jesus, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this.
I don't want to watch that. I didn't even know it existed until I started watching Vikings. And apparently, it was like a huge hit.
Yeah.
The Walking Dead still sucks, so you're not missing anything.
I know I missed this yesterday. Who'd have thought the History Channel is like amping it up with like all of, like 10 years ago? If you were like, you know what, some of the highest rated shows are going to be on the History Channel.
They ran out of history.
They did.
They've been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah,
exactly. They were, resting the laurels on Ancient Aliens for 10 years.
The Science Channel's much better.
Yeah.
Discovery Science, yeah.
Yeah. What are they talking about?
Aliens.
Oh,
alien invasions.
I actually sat through when I got sick. I sat through an entire episode of that, and it's very interesting.
The alien invasion story.
Yeah. It's
how they drop these like pods.
I saw that. Yeah. They do like a mock up of like what would happen if something happened, and they're trying to explain it through science, and they actually have scientists, and they're like, well, this is the scenario we're presenting you with, like figure it out scientifically. So in this episode, it was this organic ship showed up and dropped all these pods on Earth, and nobody knew what the pods were.
Bigfoots.
And then
they're metal.
And they're metal. And then the scientists were like, we are carbon-based life forms. We have DNA. Who's to say that on a different planet you're not carbon-based and your DNA is made of metal or whatever? So it's like an interesting kind of show.
Yeah. Did you see Did you see the one where they kind of figure out that those pods were like engineered for us?
Yeah.
And then they split into things, and then they become sand. And the whole point of this is that we like the spaceship blows away, like it just disappears. And they're like, "What the hell happened?" It just exploded into millions of pieces. And then we realizing that the pods are like become multiplying, and eventually they become like the size of like a grain of sand and even smaller. So now it's like in the air. So the whole point was like, we don't know what the effects of this is going to be over the next like whatever year. Like coming generations are going to be affected by whatever they did. And whatever they did is like now in our DNA because we've ingested it like a virus.
Right.
This is ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like if you want like interesting kind of like science fiction-y stuff, you're like, oh, this is.
Well, do you know what they did? It actually made a lot
happen?
of sense. Like if you think about it, like they pretty much like the missing link. They explained the missing link, like how he went from like walking upright and becoming educated.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot and the underground tunnels.
Yeah, exactly. But they pretty much explained like, okay, well, this is how we evolved. Like they did this before. They came here, they dropped this thing, and a virus is what made us intelligent. Like that's actually a true thing. That a virus is the reason why we became intelligent and like civilized people. They did the same thing to us again to bring us to the next phase of human evolution.
You believe in aliens, huh?
I love them.
You know what's really, you know what's really interesting? It got like the show got really serious for about 2 minutes, and then I remembered that you told me the other day that you want to do a show on conspiracy theories.
Oh
Yes,
God, get
dying
Nick
to.
Schwartz.
That's why
Get Nick Schwartz on the show then.
that he would dominate. You've never met our friend Nick Schwartz?
He will.
No, I've never met him.
He deserves his own show.
You guys would have a field day.
Who's that psychopath that had the fight with Piers Morgan, Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Alex Jones.
He can be your Alex Jones.
1776 will commence again.
Stop it. You know what I watched also?
Back to comics and stuff.
Not really. You know what I watched also that you would love because you're Latino? Che.
Yeah,
I finally watched both parts of it.
with Benicio del Ugly.
Incredible. He's not ugly. He's a very good looking man.
As my brother called him.
That movie was fantastic. Did you know he has asthma?
Yeah,
I had no
I
idea.
didn't know that. I did a big report on Shay, like in high school.
You gotta see it.
And I
man.
read this giant book.
So good.
Yeah.
Matt Damon's in it for 2 minutes.
Has a good cameo. I guess like the mash of the cameo.
It's great. It's such a good movie, man.
I tried watching that Contagion movie. No, thank you.
Watch ABCs of Death.
Yeah, I know. You've been telling me that for a month. I watched Looper. Looper was great.
Yes, man.
I liked it a lot.
See Looper, Andrew?
No,
You should. Like sci-fi.
I don't like it.
You didn't see it?
I've decided I don't like the name.
Looper reminds me of Glooper. He actually scripted a movie called Glooper.
Glooper.
That's why he's upset.
Yeah, no, he wants to watch my Glooper.
Looper, what is this garbage? His movie was about modern day guys going back and killing cavemen, as opposed to guys from the future coming back and getting killed by young Bruce Willis.
As long as they have Bigfoot tunnels, I'm cool with it.
So
What was what was the Bruce Willis movie that was out with? Is that Looper?
it's Looper.
Yeah.
That is. Oh, I saw the movie. Yeah,
And?
it was awful.
You're out of
The
your
worst thing I've
mind.
ever seen.
Wow.
And this guy watches Rescue Me like it's the second coming.
You really like Looper?
Yeah.
Looper is
What
one of
did
the best
you like about it?
It's one of the best sci-fi movies to come out in 10 years.
You really,
Really?
like Rescue Me?
Huh?
You love
He
Rescue Me?
loves
it,
Rescue
yeah.
Me.
I want to become a firefighter and live in like Howard Beach.
No offense, Andrew, but you would be the worst firefighter on earth.
I would be awful.
All the offense. That show sucks. You have terrible taste in TV.
You know you have to lift like 400 pounds.
Yes, I took the exam. I took the test.
Did you really?
Yeah.
And look how
I
it turned
passed.
out.
Look at me now.
Look at me now. I can't stand for more than 10 minutes.
I didn't like Looper.
You're crazy. You're the only person.
What did you like about it?
Everything. The story is fantastic.
The time travel thing bothered me.
You don't like time travel.
Didn't make sense.
The movie was based on.
What do you mean it doesn't make sense?
Didn't make sense.
What doesn't make sense about
Well,
it?
it does because they disappear at the end. Yeah. Okay. It was all right. I take it back.
What's happening?
I don't think you. I think you probably watched the beginning of the movie. You took a nap and then you woke up. You're like, oh, they're disappearing. Time
No,
travel.
I remember. And then Narc. They have drugs and they injected in their necks. And then the big robot man came.
Yeah,
and then
RoboCop.
They
Is that
cut him in-
RoboCop?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's RoboCop 2.
Yeah.
oh, crap. And then he put on jetpacks and started flying. Oh,
Yes.
that's RoboCop 3.
It's the one where you had two hearts. All right, we got some time. Let's talk these comics, man.
We got no time.
Book of the week.
Going right to it.
Yeah, let's go right to it, man. We got no news to
Batman
talk
and Robin.
about. Yeah, definitely.
You don't disagree with me.
I'm agreeing with you. I feel like garbage.
I know. I can see you like slowly falling apart.
I got like
ordering medicine on your phone.
I need this. I'm actually telling Ricky to get Chinese food. Like
Get
I want that
Chinese
wonton soup. It made me feel good.
What a book.
Yeah.
What a book.
Well, I mean, this is also coming up after the fact that Damien died horribly in Batman's arms.
Yeah.
In the last Batman number 7.
Were we here for that? Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
about that. That was 2 weeks ago. What we kind of were talking about before we came on the air about the fact that, we've been talking about Death of the Family with the Joker for so long.
Right.
That we were really expecting a death to happen. It was, and like even the, all the covers that were released now that are for the books coming out this month were all classified. So we knew something big was going to happen. And then nothing really, really terribly eventful happened.
Yeah.
Still a great story.
Great setup.
But then the next week we get Batman and Batman Inc. I think number 8,
9.
9.
Yeah.
And Damien bites it, and now we have like all the fallout.
No, I'm sorry. 8. Yeah, 8.
Yeah.
He bites it in 8, and then 9
Yeah.
is going to be like the last Morrison issue.
I think I got 3 issues left.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But this week we had Batman number 18. We had Batman and Robin. Batman 18 was like the official kind of like epilogue to Death of the Family, and also the fallout, and kind of possibly introducing Harper's Row, who's the new Robin, maybe.
I don't think they're going to go that route.
I think so. I
don't want him to go that route that soon.
No, that's this. No, hold on.
I like Batman 18. I liked how it's from her perspective for the most part. I also dug the fact that Kubert rocked that book big time.
Yeah, no, he was really good. I don't know why they keep on doing when they do a Harper Row story. There's always two artists.
Yeah.
At the very end, it just like kind of shifts it every single time.
I would love to see Maliev on that book permanently.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Is that Maliev?
Yeah. The backup.
That's a different style from a bit too.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more like Sankiewicz style.
Yeah.
More so than usual. I mean,
dug it. Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Issue.
Two artists on the book, and I really like how it's like kind of told from Harper Rowe's perspective, where she tries to visit her bum dad in jail.
Blackie looks terrible.
Yeah, and they set up the whole thing where like Blackgate's right in the middle of the city, and there's nothing anybody could do about it. And how she's the only one who kind of notices that Batman's lost his mind.
Yeah.
At this point, who's like hasn't slept for 5 days because his son died.
Yeah.
And it's like this death hits the Batman universe harder than anything else because it was his kid.
Yeah. It's one thing to have like someone that came under your wing.
Yeah.
That you kind of recruited off the streets or was stealing your hubcaps.
But yeah, exactly.
And this is like your actual flesh and blood.
Yeah. And there's also it lends itself to having a great return story for Damien in the future if done right.
Yeah. No, you know what's gonna happen. They always will bring somebody back.
Which would be like you're gonna get a last page reveal of like, I faked my death, father. I'm here.
I think it's gonna be Lazarus Pit, or he's coming back in that big old body of his brother.
Do you think? I don't know.
There's something with there's some reason they're still hanging around, and plus I do think that Batman 666 stuff is still gonna play out somehow.
Yeah, and it's gonna be Damian Wayne.
Yeah,
at some point.
Yeah.
But then you jump over to Batman and Robin number 18.
What an issue!
Which was, I would say, that's like my book of the week because it was so well done with Tomasi and Gleason, and Gleason knocked it out of the park with the art in this.
Completely silent issue too.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, and the note that Damian left for him.
Man, what did he write? He wrote.
Was that what got you?
That I honestly got tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
It was such a damn fine written panel. Because the whole thing is like, all right, so kind of giving background on what the setup in the book is for those who didn't read it. It's all silent. It's basically Batman going through the motions. Like Alfred's crying his eyes out.
Yeah.
Batman and him are not really interacting. They're looking at the unfinished portrait that was started out in Batman #1.
And he wraps it up.
He wraps it up, takes it away. It's a grieving father.
Yeah.
And then like he goes through the motions of like, going out and destroying things. He crashes his car and he's seeing the ghosts of, him when he was around him in certain places. Like he looks aside in the Batmobile where he usually be drinking a drink or whatever, and he's not there.
Yeah.
And then he finds like a sketchbook, and he finds this one little letter where it's Damian apologizing to Batman for disobeying him. And he's like, my mother may have, gave birth to me, but you gave me life.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. Oh, you told me how to live. You told me how to live. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a damn fine written line.
Really, really rough stuff going into that book.
And they're like Ace looking for, like Ace. I wasn't going to call him Ace. Titus is like walking around looking for his best friend, the dog. And it's just like, oh.
It's very heartbreaking. And, he breaks the case open and he hugs the unworn Robin costume, just like the Robin costume. I wish I got a picture of it, but my favorite panel, like I told you before, is when they gave him Judge Dredd face.
Yeah.
When he's in the car, and he is like that.
That mean chin.
Yeah.
Such a great issue.
What I hope happens though is like I wouldn't mind a new version of the really grim and gritty Batman stuff. Where like he's just hard. Like I think in the backup for Batman, where like he just goes on like a criminal bashing tear, like a huge binge of beating people's faces in, and leaves them all on top of the police station.
It was in this issue. It was in this issue.
Yeah.
It was he threw you see the bat signal go on, and like Harvey and Gordon go up to the top, and just like you just see like random villains on top.
Yeah.
But what I think is interesting too about this, because there's so much attention towards this aftermath now. All the issues are selling out. But the fact that we kind of know at this point what Batman's grieving process is, where it's just like we know he's gonna like dedicate himself to the work. He's not gonna sleep for 5 days. He's gonna just beat up a lot of dudes, and do his thing. And I like the fact that they actually took these particular 2 issues with the Harper Row thing, where where he realizes kind of early on that this is the wrong way to deal with this.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's breaking down emotionally, where he can't just be big tough Batman in this.
Right, yeah.
Because the whole thing about since Morrison brought him back to when Scott Snyder came on and since Damian was introduced back into the story, is making Batman a bit more human, more of a family man,
Right.
and being like a true father to him. Especially Tomasi and Gleason, where that book was basically Robin's book.
Yeah.
You know, his pets and like him developing and him killing and all that stuff. So you really got, you know, it's messed up too, because you can tell that if you look back at those issues, it's all setting up to killing this kid.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll agree with everything
Except
that you just said, but I also like the fact that like you kind of keyed into on the fact that he's like, oh, you know what, like let's put our differences aside, let's be a family. You know, like I'm gonna be a family man, I'm gonna train you guys, blah blah blah, I'm gonna do Batman stuff. And now it's like I want to see where it goes with the respect that him probably saying like, you know what, this sucks.
Yeah.
It's like I'm going at it alone again, and then just being like a really hardcore Batman.
I think that's part of it too. I think they are going that direction with having, you know, with you having these two parallel storylines of Death in the Family and like the Robin Requiem stuff.
Yeah.
I think that they are going to be separating them a bit and going in their own different directions. The Batman Robin book I know is going to be a rotating cast right now. It's going to be Batman and like Catwoman, Batman and Red Hood and whatever. So it's going to be interesting how they bring him forward out of the initial like lump in your chest, you know, dealing with, you know, one of the great characters dying.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like this is a testament to probably the best franchise that DC's putting out right now.
Absolutely.
You know, like the best franchise book. Like
yes.
It trumps everything onto in like such a way higher level.
Yep.
You know, or like you can't really throw like there's nothing in DC
that comes in close to this.
That's being written as well as Batman and Robin and Batman. You know, and like so well thought out and like so perfectly balanced with like all the characters, and it's a big universe to play with. Yep. But at the end of the day, you get a guy who dresses up like a bat and is a complete psychopath, and now you don't know if he's going to be even more of a psychopath.
Hope so.
Hope so too. I mean,
I
like
love that stuff.
Green Lantern is like a distant second.
Yeah,
I would say. And
I think Flash is a masterpiece, but it's still not. It's still very tight and small compared to the scope of Batman.
Right.
I also like the fact that Batman doesn't really mingle in his own books with like a Superman or the Justice League, because you have enough of that crap, you know, going around for the other books.
Everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know. Really interesting book that I read, the 2 Wolverine #1 this week.
I missed the. I read Ultimate. I forgot to read the other Wolverine.
I did the opposite.
Yeah.
I read the other Wolverine, which is a really wacky story.
Yeah.
And
who's writing? Cullen or no?
I lost my head.
What's his name? Wrote it.
I know Alan Davis is doing the.
Yeah, it's a weird choice for the writer.
Oh my god!
I talk and I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up. But it's like such a crazy story where like it opens up him with like him being melted into the ground basically and saying like to a kid like I'm a superhero, don't worry, like I'm gonna heal in like 2 seconds. Really interesting book for a #1, and I also feel like it's really crazy that Wolverine has 1 billion books on the shelf right now.
A lot of books.
Yeah.
It was interesting too. I still find it completely interesting that they've rebooted the entire X-Men franchise, but they still have a Wolverine X-Men book, which is such a weird. We always talk about how weird of a book and how unique it is.
Yeah, it is,
and especially this issue because you pointed out that they brought back Time Diamonds, which is my favorite elements in comics.
You know what? Like
Paul Cornell.
Paul Cornell, yeah.
Another weird choice for our #1 book. For
a Wolverine book, yeah. To begin with, I liked it. Like I want to see where it goes.
Did he write that awesome like crazy freaking Wolverine book where he had sex and cut his hair off and fought the space pirates? Remember that Wolverine? What was it called?
The Best There Is.
The Best There Is.
Yeah,
the only ones that were reading it loved it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure, but like, I
think it could have been Cornell.
That series is phenomenal.
Maybe with Lantham.
It got so weird. I think you might be right about that.
I feel like you can see his penis at any moment.
I agree with that 100%. You have Wolverine Max. You have Wolverine of the X-Men. You have Wolverine of the Savage Land. You have Wolverine #1. You have Ultimate Wolverine. He's in all the Avengers
Wolverine
books.
The X-Men. Yeah, all the Avengers books. Well, they scaled back on him a little bit. He's only really in Uncanny right now.
Yeah, but he's been showing up everywhere.
Everywhere. Well, he's got a movie coming out.
Yeah,
I think this weekend they were premiering the first trailer.
Big deal.
You know what? I think a part of me always hopes that they're going to really like knock out of the park with a really awesome Wolverine movie.
I would love it if that happened.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I just always hope for it. I'm very hopeful for a Wolverine movie.
He's in Madripoor, right?
Yeah.
This one?
It doesn't take much to make a really awesome Wolverine movie, but for whatever reason, they just keep on screwing it up.
I would enjoy a documentary style Wolverine movie of him in the wilderness.
Yeah,
Like kind of like a found footage kind of thing.
that's actually a pretty damn good idea. Or just have like a History Channel type of thing of like Wolverine through history.
Yeah,
With like testimonials coming from like some weird Canadian Yukon dudes like, I fought the Beast Man in Yukon.
grainy footage.
Yeah.
and the whole nine. You know, like aerial
Audio
views of, like-
recordings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was a ninja.
Yeah, like he was a ninja. He was a ninja. But Wolverine and X-Men, I think it was like number 24 or 25 this issue is.
Something like that.
He fights his long lost brother Dog.
Dog Logan. It's a weird name.
I want to ask you how you feel about this. Like in Wolverine Origins, which was like when that came out, it was arguably the hottest book on the shelf, right?
Oh yeah.
And wouldn't you have just felt better if he was like, "I'm your brother, Victor Creed"?
Yeah, I mean I think what they're doing finally is all right. So they, I don't remember what the hell happens because like I think the last like 2 or 3 issues of Origins awful and it's like completely forgettable. But I think they always kind of wanted to like equate him to Sabretooth,
Right.
because I mean those guys are parallel with each other in their storyline. To not make him relate in some way is just stupid.
Yeah. Cat people, dog people.
Oh God.
That's what you get.
How could you believe that? I even wrote it myself. But I think they are trying to figure out how to make it work because both Dog Logan and Sabretooth. Oh, it's so weird saying Dog Logan.
Yeah.
I think because there's like I think they're both gonna be part of the Brotherhood or the Hellfire Academy or whatever they're gonna call it now.
Right. Yeah.
I think they are gonna say somehow with his time traveling because he has time diamonds now. They are gonna be somewhat related.
That Sabretooth is Dog's son.
Yeah, something like that, or ancestor, and like whatever. But yeah, I don't understand why they didn't say he's just like a Creed or whatever.
Because I remember reading it and like that panel where you see like Dog's face like scarred up.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like why? Like I was hoping on that
Why would
reveal.
Victor-
Like like I was a Logan, but now I'm Victor Creed.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill all your wives. Nothing.
all your wives.
All your wives.
He's like a mastermind now too. They're making him like a really smart dude.
Yeah, I was like I love Sabretooth.
I
as a
always
villain.
loved him.
They've done some really awesome Sabretooth stuff since like I think the late 90s.
Yeah.
I can't really say like I've hated like some Sabretooth. I like when he's like the pimpin' crime boss. When he's like wearing like the coat, which is cool. Like the new outfits. I like the way they killed him.
I think he looks great now with like the Sabretooth necklace, and then it's kind of like a weirdo anti-Wolverine with the stripes on him and shit.
Right. Yeah.
He looks great. I always also really like Sabretooth and Mystique working together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like that's like that kind of whole thing is a really interesting dynamic in the X-Men and Wolverine universe because you have Mystique as being Nightcrawler's mom.
I'd never liked that.
You have Sabretooth are like somehow related to Wolverine.
Yeah.
And all you know is that they, for the most part, that they were a team in what was the name of the team?
SEAL Team 6.
They
killed Osama bin Laden.
It was me, Victor Creed.
I forgot their name.
With Maverick.
Yeah. Cyber Team. Something like that.
Probably. It's like a 90s super. But I remember in like, I think it was like X-Men number 5 with the Jim Lee run. I was like, oh, this is some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they're going back into like the Wolverine history. Who I feel like if you write Wolverine, you have to like, because everything gets added to like the Wolverine legacy. It's not like you have you can't have a forgettable Wolverine story because his character is set up to be able to do everything.
Yes.
You know?
Hang gliding, anything
like, oh, I was a cook in Nigeria for 10 years. And you know, you could put him in Hotel Rwanda basically. And it would be like believable, you know, as like the Don Cheadle role.
What a weird thing to put him into.
But I'm saying, you know, it's
you love that movie.
Everything is believable. I've never seen it.
You brought it up 1,000 times. We've known each other.
I don't know why.
You love Don Cheadle. It's an easy way to remember
like Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
But you could put him in any work of fiction with Wolverine in it. It won't be like why.
Yeah,
you believe it. You know. Now
we're gonna be able to do that with Dog Logan because he's been everywhere.
So great issue. They brought back the Time Diamonds. I know you're a big fan. Jason Aaron wrote
guys, go out and drop everything. Go pick up Astonishing Wolverine Spider-Man is the best. Time Diamonds.
It was a lot of fun, but
it was so perfect.
It was a lot of fun, but
great art, great storyline. Jason Aaron really set in the stone. The Dog Logan saga.
One of the best
It
gimmicks.
ends Dog Logan coming to our time.
I know. One of the gimmicks of the time diamonds, which are diamonds found in mines on Earth, that if you hold it will let you transport yourself to any point in time or space that you want. In Astonishing Wolverine and Spider-Man, the two villains had baseball bats encrusted with these diamonds.
I love them. A midget and a big thug.
Yeah. So now Dog
He's like
Logan,
a little mini Flavor Flav and the what's his name, TJ from CJ or whatever his name is from Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, CJ. You can't have more of a comic booky origin where he's like, I was trailing you in the Yukon and I heard rumblings of a wild man and I tripped into a cave.
Well,
I found these diamonds.
I like the way that they also had like the Eisenhower kind of like painted look to the whole issue.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. But I honestly like picked up the issue and I go, when the hell did Dog Logan come back into the storyline? I totally forgot they were in Savage Land. I completely wiped that from my memory.
Just right then, he's like, I tripped into the mine. I saw these. I thought about the future, and I was there.
And I was there in an alleyway. I shot 3 people.
And then like it shows in that one panel where he's like hanging out in an alien bar.
Yeah,
which I think is like kind of neat.
Yeah.
But it's good. Like it's a cool dynamic because like that's the dog that I guess left. Like he remembers.
Yeah,
and he still has like a chip on his shoulder saying like, like you were a roughly shirt kid and my dad beat the crap out of my face every day.
I'm miserable about it, but that's the thing I never really quite got. I think it's a big stretch for him is that the fact that he hated his father so much. But the fact once he lost his father to this like roughly shirt kid, he's like, yeah, and he liked regular James Howlett Logan. A weird story.
It really is. But it's like
remember Wolverine in the end when he finished the story with that future brother?
Yes.
With like the ninja ghost power.
Oh my god, yeah.
What a weird writer.
Who I thought was Romulus.
Yeah, well, I think he kind of would. I think before there was a Romulus, he was Romulus.
Yeah, okay.
And they just kind of like shaped him in, but such a weird story.
Jason Aaron might be a genius because this could explain so much of the Wolverine stuff with the time diamonds.
Well, I mean, the key, we always say this, the key to writing, especially in comics, is making the crap work. And it's whenever you do something like that, it's always great. Just like with the Onslaught thing in the back of Uncanny Avengers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I read an interview with Remender, and he says his favorite thing in the world is to rework the 90s stuff. Because, like, think about what he worked on. Venom, X-Force, and now he's bringing Onslaught back into the thing. What else? Like, I want him to do a Darkhawk book.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if that'll happen, but
it's not going to happen.
It's like, that's
too big time now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you'll have Darkhawk join X-Force at some point.
That would be awesome.
But he is in Avengers Arena.
Yeah.
Arena, whatever it is.
I'm a little bit behind on Avengers Arena.
Book is awesome. Yeah. It gets better and better.
We got to talk about Age of Ultron.
Yeah, the weird, the redhead stepchild of crossovers.
Yeah, because it's like, what continuity is it in? Like, because
none.
Somebody asked Bendis on Twitter,
when does it take place?
Like is it Ock Spidey or is it Peter Parker Spidey? And he was like, it takes place in the Marvel Now universe.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because all right, here's my problems with it. Number one, this story was written a long time ago and drawn a long time ago.
A long time ago.
So I know that they're doing all these AU issues. So a little background: it's basically story picks up right in the middle of stuff where Ultron has basically decimated all of New York. You don't know the extent of it.
Crashed into New York with a spaceship.
He has got all these Terminators running around. All the Avengers hate each other. The underground, blah blah. I mean, it's set up, right?
Yeah. Hey, no, you're right. Yeah. They're hunted, persecuted, and
you've seen it before, but it's cool. Like I like this type of stuff. But here's a couple of weird things. So they're doing all these AU issues. So they'll have Superhero Spider-Man number 6 AU.
Right.
In their version, it's legitimately Doc Ock Spidey.
Okay.
All right. In this one, he's writing it exactly like the way he's written Spider-Man always.
Okay.
With you read that. He doesn't have the ticks. Plus, you had that Nick Fury scene with when they look at the wall.
Right, yeah.
You have Dr. Octopus on the side, and they have all this stuff. Now, here's my big problem with this comic. So, they said the reason why Nick Fury has never been caught or whatever is because he never wrote down anything. Everything's written down. Everything is written all over it. And he's like, oh, the one in red are the ones that we're supposed to, the ones he can't trust, and the ones that are blue he can't trust. Right. Everything's in black.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
That's an interesting thing to point out, especially like I didn't even think about that. It's kind of mind blowing, or it's like, he never wrote it. So secret espionage, and he's like, check out this big board.
This board with all he's writing on, all these notes,
scribbly.
There's computers everywhere.
Always never write anything down. Always write everything down, kid.
That's how he got away. He wrote down everything. He's like the guy who gets the dude's busting casino. He's like, I keep everything in the books.
Write down everything. Write down nothing.
All the receipts.
Write it up here. Write it down here.
I like it. I think it's fun. He really loves Hawkeye in this story.
Yeah.
It's good to see Moon Knight again because what happened?
Yeah, exactly. Like after the series ended, it was like, see ya.
Moon Knight will return.
Goodbye. But like he also had see, that's the thing about this that's a little I really like it.
So do I.
I think the release of it is a little weird because like you have like all this cool Marvel Now
Doesn't
stuff.
make any sense.
And it's like what's the continuity of this? Like what's the canon of the Age of Ultron? Like are they doing like without eating up crossover stuff like Marvel used to? Like years ago, Marvel was notorious for doing the mega event with every single tie-in. And I think Civil War was the first one that started that, or was it?
Yeah.
And then after every mega event, you had Civil War, you had Frontline, you had Civil War this, Civil War Captain America, Civil War Ambush Bug, you had Civil War like everything, and then Invasion, etc., and then Siege, and like all that stuff. Yeah. And now it's like you have the one big crossover book, and now it's dipping into single issues of
this is like
story.
Yeah, and this is his big swan song for the Avengers, right? In terms of Bendis. Then they have the weird thing with the ending, how everyone's saying the ending is gonna be the biggest thing that happened in Marvel forever, which they always say. But it's so big that no artist knows what the ending is. So they have like 4 artists on this book, and Quesada is the only one who knows the ending, and he's drawing the last 4 pages of the book.
Sweet.
Hank Pym's gonna be a big part of this. I think it's fun.
Yeah,
but it's also. Do you remember Age of X that happened like maybe 6 months ago? Yeah. Same type of setup where you had you pick up an issue and then it's all of a sudden this like different universe. You don't know why. It's kind of the same key of Age of Ultron, Age of X, Age of Ultron. Makes sense. It's Legion again.
But yeah, like where does it fall into? Because like we were teased with a lot of Ultron stuff years ago, like especially during
Moon Knight
and Fantastic Four. Because we saw that big and like that Brian Hitch was doing also. I think. I want to. Was it right before the Hickman run, or like, or was it during the
which one?
The Ultron stuff, where like they saw the vision of the future, and it was like just Ultrons.
It was before the Hickman. Hickman. It was before the Hickman stuff.
Okay.
Because this is way back in Free Comic Book Day. They were really setting up the Age of Ultron stuff. This was during Siege when they looked at the big wall. The timeline. Right. It was they said the Age of Ultron stuff. And they've always been kind of like building towards, even from when they did Mighty Avengers, when they had the Wanda, the Wasp version of Ultron.
Yeah.
They've been teasing that this is going to be that he's always been wanting to do this big Ultron story.
I like it. It's a weekly book, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, thank God, it's 10 issues.
Yeah, I mean, like it's really interesting. I like the end. Like what kind of grabbed me was like they're all in like the underground bunker, like all defeated.
Nobody says anything except for the 4 characters.
Exactly, but they're all there, and then like you have like you throw in like Spidey and all that stuff, and the fact that like Captain America is just like beaten
with no like a chunk, like a little bit of a shield.
But you don't see that in the first issue, right?
Yeah, you see it. You see it laying next to him.
But he's like just oh man, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then in this issue, it's like Spidey's kind of like, so everybody hates each other, huh? You guys hate me too? And Cap gets up and like now he has a plan.
Well, also there's I think that's the whole thing is that they don't understand why Spider-Man was captured and was being sold to Ultron.
Right.
That there is something that Ultron wants out of like the heroes for the most part.
It's gonna be the Matrix.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I also think that Hank Pym is gonna have something to do with all of this because he's one of the people that are missing from this.
Right. Yeah.
I don't like that Iron Man gear that he's wearing.
Why?
That Tron stuff that he's wearing. Not digging it. Did you read Fantastic Four this week?
I did not. Sorry.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I've been kind of crapping over this, but I got really excited because they have I read the solicitations for Marvel, and they have, I guess, one issue where they're going back to the Council of Doom from the Hickman run.
Oh, sweet.
And one of them was Dr. Strange Fate from Amalgam, which I was crazy about.
Really?
Yeah, it had the Dr. Fate helmet, but it was in silver. It looked awesome.
That's pretty cool. That's a little weird nod flip out for.
That was a cool book.
I can.
It has nothing to do with Dr. Doom though.
I was sick all week. I can't really remember what I read.
I read that. Ultimate Wolverine I read, which is a weird book.
Yeah.
Again, Cullen Bunn, weird stuff. What else did I read this week?
Walking Dead. We got to talk about Walking Dead.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
Walking Dead. That's right.
God.
I think it's a TV show thing that's kind of ruined it for us.
Yeah.
Great issue.
It was a really great issue.
Yeah, look at that.
There we go. Walking Dead number 108, starring a new character that was introduced.
Richard Parker.
But you have you have the interesting setup, which because like when I talked to you about this issue, I was like, I don't know where they're going with this, but
I loved it.
It's a weird setup because if you think about the Jesus character who showed up out of nowhere and his name's Jesus, probably not his real name. They just call him Jesus. You know, he's part of this big community. And Jesus has been around for a very long time at this point, like issue-wise.
Yeah, he moved a big rock and he came back to life. And
in the books too. He's been around for a while. At least I would say like 15, maybe 20 issues.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, about a year.
And an interesting story with him. But now it's the other side of the coin where instead of going to Negan's camp, they're going to like the good guys camp basically, and the survivor camp is right in the middle of like the Henry Rollins Negan camp, and then like this other place called the Kingdom.
The Negans are the saviors,
right?
The saviors, the hilltop, and there's these dudes now, the Kingdom.
The Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
So they go to the Kingdom, and it's very structured. There's guys in armor on horses.
Yep.
Like talking very biblically.
Yep.
And the head guy is called Ezekiel.
And they're in a school too, which is that's always been my zombie pick for a base because they're so well built.
Yeah, it's true. Schools will never go down.
Yeah.
There's so much space you can live in a school.
But it's a kingdom.
Right.
He's a psychopath.
Clearly.
But the best part is the dude's got a tiger.
Yeah. That when he shows up with the tiger, in my head I was like, this is going into a really weird Why the Last Man kind of post-apocalyptic deal.
Well, this is what something that I really liked about it is because you've been in this world for quite some time, an undisclosed amount of time.
Yeah,
I would say a few years now. Right? You would say a few years of Walking Dead, their universe, like 5 years.
I would say 4.
Well, because Carl is a lot older than he used to be.
3 to 4,
and Sophie's a lot older.
Yeah.
But I think that you would start getting these very established societies where you're going into like Mad Max territory when you start see people pimping out their places instead of just like having a walled community or something. Now you're gonna start seeing people building up and stuff like that.
Right.
So which I like, because now you have these different power struggles.
More of the universe is getting unfolded.
Yeah, which means in 10 weeks or so we're gonna probably get them all wiped out.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like it's kind of like a cool. I always said the way I like the way Kirkman does the book is that you don't know what's going to come next. You don't know what's beyond the wall.
Yeah.
And now you're getting like a little taste of it. And it's only because like there's no, like the cars don't work anymore apparently. There's no gas anywhere. The roads are messed up.
No internet.
There's no internet. There's zombies everywhere. So, your instinct is like stay away from the major city. Find a group of people that you could trust and, try to make a life for yourself. Like you exist in your acre of land. And that's it.
What I also like about it is I think for a long period of time, especially with this book, it's not a bad thing, and I think it's very realistic. We've had a very uniform way of creating characters. It's usually just a guy in a jacket with a certain haircut, and they got comfortable with that thing. I like the fact that you now have a bunch of these key characters who are very visually distinctive. Yeah, you have your big Henry Rollins Negan, you have Two-Face. You've got
Ezekiel.
You got Jesus. Like you have these
Carl,
Michonne, and like you have these very defining, kind of larger than life characters, which I kind of like in this book, which has been very gray for a long time, and that's not a key on the black and white thing. It's been a very steady way. I like the visual appearance of that's going on in this book.
I'll agree with you on that.
I like the weird factor that this brings in now.
It's kind of cool because it makes you think that like what else is beyond the thing, because Kirkman could turn the book is so tightly written that he could turn around and once they get to the city limits, aliens could show up. And it could go anyway. Like you can have a guy with a ray gun just start blasting dudes and be like, that's it, dinosaurs. Super dinosaurs going to show up. Issue 110. But you could really have like a lot of fun with it. And I think this is Kirkman having more fun with the book.
Yes,
a little bit, because it's like an Escape from New York type situation. Also,
absolutely,
where it's
that's why I like it so much.
Yeah, you have like this big dude with a tiger who's a maniac, and it's just an interesting power struggle now with, I forgot the Two-Face guy's name. I think it's Dwayne, maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
Where he shows up and Rick is like, what's this guy doing here? He's a bad guy. And then he's like, that guy banged my wife, bro. I'm like, I'm gonna get my wife back and have her not get banged by this guy anymore. And Rick's like, okay, bro.
This is also the guy that killed Abraham.
Yeah.
Which they kind of telegraphed the fact that one of them was going to come over. And I'm glad it's him because I do like what they can do with this character now.
Yeah.
And you still don't know what's up, really.
When are they going to introduce Daryl?
I don't think they're ever going to do it.
I know Kirkman teased it, but
yeah, with the nothing to fear things with the crossbow
right
thing on it. Yeah, we thought it was going to happen.
Yeah,
I think it would be. You know what? I think it's a bad move for them to introduce him into the book
because
it would really overshadow everything because they love this character so much. I just think it would be like, oh, more Daryl.
Yeah, people love Daryl.
Merle.
Everybody's a Vato.
Everybody's a Vato. They gave what's his name a bit more time, the Latino, on this week's episode.
Did they?
Yeah.
I can't believe I missed this week's episode.
Why? Why'd you miss it?
This is why I got sick. I had to go to a family party in Staten Island, and I think
no wonder you went to Staten Island.
I think I high-fived like a sick kid, and then like the next day I was like, it hit me all at once. But yeah, maybe when I go home tonight, I'll eat some Chinese food and watch this week's episode.
You watch two people talk to each other for an hour.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for ruining it, spoiler man.
Great.
All right,
I can talk about war for three episodes until the season finale.
Mm-hmm. And then it's going to end with the big Rick and Governor fight where Rick loses his hand.
I hope he loses his hand at this point. You know what? Remember I was saying I hope it didn't happen. I really hope it happens.
Would you be surprised if they were like, season 3's a wrap? It's done.
I'd say it, it's over. Yeah. I'd be happy.
Would you be upset?
No.
At all? Would you be like, damn man, it's so great?
Nope. Game of Thrones is coming. I'm happy.
Game of Thrones is coming. You know what show?
Easter Sunday, bro.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome. You know what? I watched a bunch of the other day that I really miss on TV. Bored to death. I know you don't like that.
I don't like it.
It's good. It's good.
I watch Banshee and Girls.
Oh well, I don't like Girls. I don't like Lena Dunham.
But you're supposed to bleed in the ministry.
If you, I don't know if I told you this. I think I may have actually said it on the show. If you put Lena Dunham in gold dust makeup and attire, I wouldn't tell them apart. Wouldn't be able to tell them apart.
You guys said, but I'm still cool with that.
All right, everybody. This has been another episode of Behind the Counter. I'm Rich. I'm still sick. And this is Jonathan.
Hey.